Spying on friends. It could be the title of a work of fiction, but it's just what Europeans have been up in arms about. According to arch whistleblower Edward Snowden, the American espionage program Prism included them. Demanding explanations, some outraged voices have even suggested Europe think twice about future trade agreements with the US. Britain's Guardian newspaper and then Germany's Die Spiegel said European delegations have been spied on in Washington, in Brussels and at the United Nations. But both Chancellor Angela Merkel's spokesman and the European Commission president have kept on speaking in the conditional, saying we have to see if it's true.
If these news are proven true, this would be very disturbing and raise serious and very important concerns. This is why, as soon as media reports were released, we have immediately requested from the US a full and immediate clarification of the matter.
French President François Hollande said we can't accept this kind of behavior between partners and allies. What are the consequences? First of all, it must stop as soon as possible. I was going to say immediately. Next, negotiations or transactions in all areas can only be entered into after we have guarantees. Brussels-Washington relations then have chilled, but quite a few sources have said the Europeans aren't really that upset. This French former intelligence officer suggests that getting all worked up might be childish.
To be surprised today, it could be a little bit naive, it could be also an hypocrisy. I'm quite sure that some European countries, certainly Germany and France, for instance, and certainly France, are spying the United States when they can.
President Obama, for his part, doesn't seem to be taking the whole anger thing very seriously, not among those who've been spied on at home or abroad. He hasn't denied it, saying, of course it's true.
Every European intelligence service, every Asian intelligence service, wherever there's an intelligence service, here's one thing that they're going to be doing. They're going to be trying to understand the world better and what's going on in world capitals around the world. If that weren't the case, then there'd be no use for an intelligence service. And I guarantee you that in European capitals, there are people who are interested in, if not what I had for breakfast, at least what my talking points might be, should I end up meeting with their leaders.
That suggests a new era of transparent espionage.
As Edward Snowden remains on the lookout for a safe haven, the spying row he sparked rumbles on. Euronews asked European Parliament President Martin Schulz how it could affect relations with Washington. The United States treating its closest allies as enemies is completely unacceptable. If it's confirmed that EU offices were bugged, whether in Washington or in New York, or even institutional buildings in Brussels, then I think this will lead to a serious crisis between the EU and the United States. I'm a bit surprised by the silence of the other European institutions. The Parliament has been very clear on this issue. Yesterday, I called the US ambassador to the EU to request clarifications and explanations. Because when we're seen as a threat by the United States, we have to see what the consequences will be. Do you support Edward Snowden getting political asylum in a European country such as Germany? I don't think that those who reveal violations of the law are criminals. Mr. Schulz, do you believe America's economic might could influence certain decisions taken by countries or even institutions in Europe? Well, regarding the European Parliament, certainly not. I can't speak for the other 27 EU members. But let's be honest, the UK has probably spied on other EU member states. It's clear it's just not the United States doing this. It's probably the British Secret Services as well. I thought that the days when we spied on each other were long gone, but clearly I was mistaken, like so many others. You cannot pressurize the European Parliament through economic might. This is the place where individual rights are defended.